All right, let's talk about something that's running in the background of every single relationship you've ever had, whether you realize it or not. I'm talking about your attachment style.
Does this hit home for you? That feeling that love is fragile? Like you're constantly walking on a tightrope, just waiting for it to snap? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And believe it or not, the answer probably goes way, way back.
Okay, picture this. It's 2 a.m. You're wide awake, just spiraling. Your partner says they need a little space, and to you, that sounds like it's over. It feels like abandonment, just dressed up in polite words. You're rereading every text, right? This isn't you being crazy. It's a very real, very specific pattern.
Or maybe you're on the other side of that. Your partner wants to get closer, and you just feel suffocated, like the walls are closing in, and you find yourself pulling back, maybe even picking a fight, because real intimacy, it's terrifying. Again, this isn't some character flaw. It's another powerful pattern.
So how can these two totally opposite reactions exist? What connects them? Well, it all points to something called your attachment blueprint. Think of it like a map for love that was drawn for you when you were just a kid, way before you knew anything about relationships.
This all comes from something called attachment theory. The basic idea, developed by pioneers like John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth, is that our very first bonds with our parents or caregivers created a kind of lifelong blueprint. It's the thing that secretly tells you how to do intimacy, who to trust, and whether you feel worthy of love. It's like the hidden operating system running your love life. And check this out. Only about half the population has what we call a secure attachment style. That means the other 50%, well, they fall into these other insecure categories. Suddenly it makes a lot more sense why relationships can be so tough, right? We're all out here trying to connect, but we're literally working from different blueprints.
Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to break down these 4 core styles. Think of it like finally getting a look at your own relational DNA, because once you understand it, you can start to change the parts that have been holding you back.
First, let's talk about secure attachment. This is kind of the gold standard, the healthy baseline. For these folks, love feels like a safe harbor, not a war zone. They're comfortable with intimacy, but they're also cool with independence. Conflict doesn't send them into a panic, because at their core, they trust that the connection is solid.
So where does this come from? It's pretty straightforward, actually. It comes from having caregivers who were consistently there for you. When you were a baby and you cried, they showed up. They were emotionally available. You learned, deep in your bones, a really simple but profound lesson. People will be there for me. I am worthy of love.
Okay, now for style number 2, anxious attachment. The core driver here, a deep, deep fear of abandonment. This is the style that leads to that constant worry that your partner's going to leave. You need a lot of reassurance, and any little bit of space can feel like a massive threat. Remember that 2 a.m. spiral? This is where it lives. And the key word for how this starts is inconsistency. Your caregivers were unpredictable. Sometimes they were warm and loving, other times they were distant or checked out. So you learn that love isn't a sure thing. You learned you have to kind of fight for it, which is why, as an adult, you're always on high alert for any sign that connection is fading. Next up, we have the complete opposite, the avoidant style. For these individuals, independence is everything. Closeness feels dangerous, suffocating. So when a partner tries to get closer, their internal alarm bells go off, and their go-to strategy is to create distance. They pull away and basically shut down their own need for connection. And this often comes from a childhood where caregivers were emotionally unavailable or even dismissive. If crying or showing emotion was treated like an inconvenience, you learn a really painful lesson. My needs are too much. I'm on my own. So you learn to just suppress everything, because that's the only way to keep the peace. Okay, this right here, this explains so much. This is the classic tale of 2 fears. The anxious person's core fear is abandonment, so their strategy is to cling closer. But the avoidance core fear is being engulfed or controlled, so their strategy is to create distance. Do you see it? The very thing one person does to feel safe is the exact thing that triggers the other person's deepest fear. It's a perfect and perfectly painful cycle. And then there's the 4th style, which is often called fearful-avoidant or disorganized. This one is intense. It's like having 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake at the same time. They desperately want love, but they're also terrified of it. So you get this chaotic push-pull. They'll push someone away and then immediately panic when they actually start to leave. The roots of this style are almost always in some form of childhood trauma.
What happens is the caregiver, the very person who is supposed to be a source of safety, is also a source of fear. The child's brain just can't make sense of that. The whole nervous system gets wired with a devastating message. The people who are supposed to love you are also the people who will hurt you. Love itself becomes unsafe.
So let's talk about the big one, the anxious avoidant trap. Why on earth do these two opposites seem to find each other so often? It's because, as painful as it is, the dynamic feels familiar. It confirms what each person already believes about love. Let's break down exactly how this dance works.
Okay, here's the cycle in 4 steps. Step 1, the anxious partner feels distance and starts to pursue, trying to get that reassurance. Step 2, that pursuit makes the avoidant partner feel suffocated, so they withdraw, they pull away. Step 3, that withdrawal confirms the anxious person's absolute worst fear. See, I knew it, they're leaving me. And finally, step 4, the anxious person's reaction justifies the avoidant's belief that, see, they're just too needy, I need my space. And the whole thing starts all over again. It's a vicious loop.
Wow. Okay, I know hearing all this can feel heavy, maybe even a little hopeless. But please hear this. This is the most important takeaway of all. Your blueprint is not permanent. It is not your destiny. You are not stuck with this forever. There is absolutely a way to heal.
And the hopeful concept here is called earned secure attachment. How cool is that? It means that even if you didn't get that secure base in childhood, you can build it for yourself as an adult. Through conscious work, you can literally rewire your brain and your nervous system for healthier love. You can earn your security.
So you might be asking, okay, but how? Well, it all starts with awareness. Just seeing your patterns for what they are, without beating yourself up over them. Then it's about making different choices. Maybe that means picking partners who are actually available for a secure relationship. It's about noticing your knee-jerk reaction and choosing to do something different. And look, this work is hard. Seeking support, like therapy, can be a total game changer in healing these deep-seated wounds.
So I want you to think about this. Does this stuff explain anything for you? Does it explain why you keep picking the same kind of person over and over? Or why real intimacy feels so scary? Does it shed light on why, even with a great partner, you just can't seem to trust them? Can you see your blueprint in action?
Because here's the thing. Once you have this awareness, you can't unsee it. And that awareness gives you power. It's the very first step to breaking free from the old cycle. It's the key to finally choosing a love that feels safe, secure, and real. Not like a tightrope, but like coming home to solid ground.